Chapter 11. Holiday in Wales. Section 1.
At the end of the 3rd week in August, Arthur, having made a reasonable amount of money guiding tourists around London and elsewhere, decided he didn't need to do any more work for the rest of the vacation. Instead, he thought he would take Mary away somewhere for a holiday. While walking down Earl's Court Road one day, he happened to bump into a fellow student of his by the name of David Jones. Arthur asked him what he'd been doing over the vacation. David told him that he'd been staying with some other students in a cottage in Wales, belonging to his aunt. Arthur thought that this would be a good idea for their own holiday, so he asked David if he happened to know whether it would be free or not. David promised to phone his aunt and let Arthur know as soon as he could. Arthur didn't think any more about it for a couple of days, and didn't even mention it to Mary until the phone rang. It was David, who told him that the cottage was available from the following Saturday for a fortnight if they wanted it, but that he had to know immediately or no later than the following day. Mary thought it would be a good idea, as she had never been to Wales and had heard that it was very beautiful. So without any further delay, Arthur phoned David back and told him that they would take the cottage. As there was no public transport within miles of the cottage, they decided to hire a car for the fortnight. On Saturday they collected the car, got it filled up with petrol and oil, and set off down the M4 motorway towards the Severn Bridge and South Wales. The cottage was in a village called Penole, near Cardigan, on the west coast of Wales. The journey as far as Carmarthen went fairly smoothly, although there were heavy winds blowing across the motorway, which made driving a little difficult. However, having got to Carmarthen, Arthur took a wrong turning and found himself driving west instead of north. Having stopped in a lay-by to consult the map, he got himself back on the right road, but they didn't arrive until it was just getting dark. They had been told to get the key from a Mr. Di Davis, the landlord of the Penole Arms, just down the road from the cottage. Mr. Davis gave them the keys and told them where the cottage was. He also told them that he had asked Mr. Phillips, the milkman, to call in the morning and showed them where the village shop was. They were very tired after their long drive and were looking forward to a rest.
Section 2.
Wales is one of the 4 countries which make up the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain includes Scotland, Wales and England. The original Celtic inhabitants of the British Isles were pushed westwards by succeeding invaders, and the Welsh language is a descendant of the language spoken by the early Celtic population of Britain. Most Welshmen speak English in their daily lives, but in certain parts of Wales, Welsh is the language the people speak amongst themselves. Everybody there, however, can speak English. Although Wales is fairly small, there is a contrast between its different parts. The largest part of the Welsh population lives in the industrial parts of South Wales, which contains the mining villages and the cities of Swansea, Cardiff and Newport. The central part of Wales consists of peaceful, undulating countryside with no large towns to speak of, and its people are mainly engaged in agriculture. North Wales is probably the region best known to tourists, consisting as it does of the mountains of Snowdonia, magnificent castles such as Carnarvon and Conway, and the popular seaside resorts of Rhyl, Colwyn Bay and Llandudno. Not forgetting the famous village on the Isle of Anglesey called Llanfaelpwll Llwyngyll Gogech Gwilymdrobwyl Llantysilio Gogogoch. When thinking about Wales, one remembers that the Welsh are renowned for their singing, their interest in rugby football, and their chapels. The Welsh atmosphere has been captured perfectly in Dylan Thomas's poetic play Under Milkwood, which describes the goings-on in a typical Welsh village.
Dialogue. This road seems to go on forever. And it's getting dark, too. That last signpost said Pernod was only 5 miles. And it seems to me we've done 7 already. We must have got lost again.
Look, we're coming to a village now.
Oh,
Yes, there's the sign. Pernod.
thank God. I don't think I could have driven any further. David said the cottage would be a little difficult to find in the dark. Now, let's see. I wonder where the Pernod Arms is.
It must be that place there by the crossroads.
Ah, yes. Well, let's go over and see Mr. Davis. Excuse me, please. Are you Mr. Davis?
Yes, that's right. What can I do for you?
We've come to stay at...
Ah, you must be David Jones's friend. My wife's got the keys. Winnie? Winnie! Ah, here she is. These are the people from London.
Oh, how do you do? Just staying for a fortnight, are you?
Yes, we can't afford to stay any longer, I'm afraid.
Well, now, I told the milkman to deliver tomorrow. Just leave a note out telling him what you want. I expect he'll be there at about 8:30. Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. Davis. By the way, could you tell us where the village shop is? Well, you're too late for it now. But it'll be open in the morning. It's just up the road, next to the chapel.
Where exactly is the cottage?
If you'll come outside, I'll show you. Now, if you go down this hill here, there's a sharp bend to the right about 300 yards down the road. Don't go any further than that. The entrance to the drive's just before it. Drive very carefully, otherwise you'll land up in the stream.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Davis. I expect we'll be seeing you again.
Oh, and there's one other thing. Be careful of your head in the hall. The ceiling's a bit low. Good night, then.
Good night, and thanks.
Slow down, Arthur. We must be nearly there.
Look, who's driving, you or me?
Oh!
Now look what you've made me do. We're in the stream. It's no good. It won't budge. You'll have to get out and help me push it. Never mind your feet. Can't you push any harder? Come on. There we are. Oh, well done. I'm sorry I shouted at you.
Here at last. Oh, Arthur, look at all the roses round the door.
Doesn't look bad, does it? How'd you get, love?
No, you go first and see if you can find the light switch.
Okay. Ouch!
What on earth's the matter, Arthur?
I banged my head on the ceiling. That's what's the matter.
Oral Practice 1. Listen and repeat. A. It's getting dark, too. Forever, and it's getting dark, too. To go on forever, and it's getting dark, too. This road seems to go on forever, and it's getting dark, too. B.
Any further. Driven any further. Could have driven any further. I don't think I could have driven any further.
C.
What you want. Telling him what you want. A note out telling him what you want. Just leave a note out telling him what you want.
D.
Down the road. About 300 yards down the road. To the right, about 300 yards down the road. There's a sharp bend to the right, about 300 yards down the road. This hill here, there's a sharp bend to the right, about 300 yards down the road. Now, if you go down this hill here, there's a sharp bend to the right, about 300 yards down the road.
E.
Or me? You or me? Who's driving, you or me? Look, who's driving, you or me?
That's the end of Oral Practice 1. Oral Practice 2. You will now hear a dialogue in which you are going to take part. Listen, please. I wonder how much further it is. We seem to have been driving for hours. Are you sure we're on the right road? Well, there was a signpost at the last crossroads saying that this was the Dover Road. We're sure to get there soon. Well, I hope we do. I'm fed up with sitting in this car. Yes, I must say I don't want to do any more driving either. What's the program for this evening, then? Well, a hot bath, dinner, and then I'm not sure. There are probably some nice old pubs in Dover. Oh, I think there are bound to be. Ah, look, we're coming into Dover now. Thank God. Now, it's the Hotel Metropole, isn't it? Don't go so fast. Turn left at the next traffic lights. That must be it over there. All right, there's no need to shout. I can see it. Now you'll hear the dialogue again. This time you must talk to your friend and speak at the same time as the speaker on the tape. I wonder how much further it is. We seem to have been driving for hours. Are you sure we're on the right road? Well, there was a signpost at the last crossroads saying that this was the Dover Road. We're sure to get there soon. Well, I hope we do. I'm fed up with sitting in this car. Yes, I must say I don't want to do any more driving either. What's the program for this evening, then? Well, a hot bath, dinner, and then I'm not sure. There are probably some nice old pubs in Dover. Oh, I think there are bound to be. Ah, look, we're coming into Dover now. Thank God. Now it's the Hotel Metropole, isn't it? Don't go so fast. Turn left at the next traffic lights. That must be it over there. All right, there's no need to shout. I can see it. Good. Now, this time you must talk to your friend on your own. I wonder how much further it is. We seem to have been driving for hours. Are you sure we're on the right road? Well, I hope we do. I'm fed up with sitting in this car. What's the program for this evening, then? Oh, I think there are bound to be. Ah, look, we're coming into Dover now. Don't go so fast. Turn left at the next traffic lights. That must be it over there. That's the end of Oral Practice 2. Oral Practice 3. Listen carefully to the passage. When you've heard it once or twice, try to answer the questions in your book. The difference between life in one country and another is quite often not so great as the difference between town life and village life in the same country. In an English village, everybody knows everybody else. They know what time you get up, what time you go to bed, and what you have for dinner. If you want any help, you'll always get it, and be glad to help anyone else in return. In a large town like London, however, it can sometimes happen that you've never seen your next-door neighbour, don't know his name or anything about him. People living in London are often very lonely, especially after work. This is because the people they're with all day are scattered over large areas in the evenings and at weekends. If you walk through the streets in the centre of London on a Sunday, it's like a ghost town. One is sorry for the old people living on their own and having no work to go to during the day. It's by no means uncommon for such people to die in their homes and not be discovered for weeks or even months.
That's the end of Oral Practice 3. Oral Practice 4. Listen, please.
60 miles an hour is fast enough to drive.
Yes, we shouldn't drive any faster.
Yes, we shouldn't drive any faster.
5 pints is enough beer to drink.
Yes, we shouldn't drink any more.
Yes, we shouldn't drink any more.
Now you go on in the same way.
60 miles an hour is fast enough to drive.
Yes, we shouldn't drive any faster.
5 pints is enough beer to drink.
Yes, we shouldn't drink any more.
2 hours is long enough to wait.
Yes, we shouldn't wait any longer.
2 miles is far enough to walk.
Yes, we shouldn't walk any farther.
3 stories up is high enough to live.
Yes, we shouldn't live any higher.
11 o'clock is late enough to come home.
Yes, we shouldn't come home any later.
7 o'clock is early enough to get up.
Yes, we shouldn't get up any earlier.
We're working hard enough.
Yes, we shouldn't work any harder.
Oral Practice 5. Listen, please.
He must be an old man.
You're right, he can't be a young man.
You're right, he can't be a young man.
She must be rich.
You're right, she can't be poor.
You're right, she can't be poor.
Now you go on in the same way.
He must be an old man.
You're right, he can't be a young man.
She must be rich.
You're right, she can't be poor.
That water must be shallow.
You're right, it can't be deep.
These chocolates must be soft.
You're right, they can't be hard.
He must be ill.
You're right, he can't be well.
The Sahara must be dry.
You're right, it can't be wet.
This wine must be dry.
You're right, it can't be sweet.
This drill must be difficult.
You're right, it can't be easy.
Oral Practice 6. Listen, please.
Is Pat doing the washing up now?
I think she might have done it already.
I think she might have done it already.
Are they having dinner now?
I think they might have had it already.
I think they might have had it already. Now, you go on in the same way.
Is Pat doing the washing up now?
I think she might have done it already.
Are they having dinner now?
I think they might have had it already.
Is the Prime Minister writing his book now?
I think he might have written it already.
Are the Fergusons selling their house now?
I think they might have sold it already.
Are they building the new library now?
I think they might have built it already.
Are you using Getting On now?
I think I might have used it already.
Are you recovering from your cold now?
I think I might have recovered from it already.
Are you finishing this exercise now?
I think I might have finished it already. Oral practice 7. Listen, please.
Your hair needs cutting, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm getting it cut tomorrow.
Yes, I'm getting it cut tomorrow.
Arthur's shoes really do need mending.
Yes, he's getting them mended tomorrow.
Yes, he's getting them mended tomorrow.
Now you go on in the same way.
Your hair needs cutting, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm getting it cut tomorrow.
Arthur's shoes really do need mending.
Yes, he's getting them mended tomorrow.
His suit needs cleaning, too.
Yes, he's getting it cleaned tomorrow.
Mary's watch needs repairing.
Yes, she's getting it repaired tomorrow.
Your teeth need seeing to.
Yes, I'm getting them seen to tomorrow.
This job needs doing.
Yes, I'm getting it done tomorrow.
Jack's car needs taxing.
Yes, he's getting it taxed tomorrow.
Your library book needs renewing.
Yes, I'm getting it renewed tomorrow.
Oral practice 8. Dictation. Cover up the passage and listen, please.
People who come to England often ask why the traffic on the roads keeps to the left instead of to the right as it does in most other countries. It is difficult to guess why this is so, although it is probably safe to say that there is no political reason for it. It is often suggested that the system should be changed. But think of the cost of changing all the road signs. And what about the buses? The doors would be on the wrong side unless they were driven backwards.
Now you'll hear the passage again, and this time you must write down what you hear. Stop the machine at the pauses.
People who come to England often ask why the traffic on the roads keeps to the left instead of to the right. as it does in most other countries. It is difficult to guess why this is so, although it is probably safe to say that there is no political reason for it. It is often suggested that the system should be changed. But think of the cost of changing all the road signs. And what about the buses? The doors would be on the wrong side, unless they were driven backwards.
Now, here's the passage again.
People who come to England often ask why the traffic on the roads keeps to the left instead of to the right, as it does in most other countries. It is difficult to guess why this is so, although it is probably safe to say that there is no political reason for it. It is often suggested that the system should be changed, but think of the cost of changing all the road signs. And what about the buses? The door